Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at some weapons, a whole bunch of U.S. military weapons, or at least I think that's what they are. I'm not a weapons aficionado, as I've talked about, but these are 3D weapons by Top Fun Retro Toys. I'm going to go through a lot of weapons. He sent me a bunch of weapons, so I'm not going to do them all right now. I'm going to break them into kind of segments, but today I'm going to start with what I believe are most of the U.S. weapons, M4s, M16s, different things like that. Now, full disclosure, I did not pay for these. These were sent to me, and I agreed to review them, take a look at them, see how they are. Again, nothing is really going to change, but you can decide for yourself. I'm going to tell you what I think is good and what's bad in these. And then you guys can make your decision. But this is a relatively inexpensive weapon, and from what I can see, actually look pretty good. Are they going to be the quality of some of the other ones? Maybe not just yet, but I've discussed a lot of things with this guy, and I think he really wants to get an affordable weapon that is 3D printed where you can constantly change and make new weapons. You're going to see how many different weapons there are. So now let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. We're going to look at a lot of these weapons, quickly look at the detail, just kind of go through them. You'll be able to see some of the poses that I already have. But before we do, if you like this type of stuff, if you like the 3D weapons that I've been dropping, 3D accessories, different types of stuff like that, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop something like this. All right, now let's get right to it. All right, so here we are. You got these weapons laid out. Now these are mostly U.S. military weapons, or at least ones I feel look like military weapons, M4s, M16s, stuff like that. So, but here we are, Top Fun Retro Toys 3D.com. I will drop a link in the description so you don't have to worry about typing this out. You can just go down there, click the link, and then go ahead and order some. Most of the weapons seem to run anywhere from $6 to $12. He does have other weapons, Soviet weapons, bad guy weapons. I know that sounds weird to say. Small submachine guns, snipers, machine guns, and obviously stuff like this. So quickly, we'll take a look at this. And it is a nice looking weapon. It looks like it'd be more for like the desert. You can tell there is no paint on this one, and there is no removable magazine. Now, I said this when I've discussed Arsenal Pew Pews. That is not a big deal. Gridiron does a wonderful job removable magazines, but I don't think it's something you have to have. It's great for photography, but not everyone's going to be doing stuff like that. So, quickly looking at this detail, you can see that it's all there. Looks really nice. All right. It has a scope on it. There's a few lines which you will see throughout some of these weapons, and he even talked about it with me that you're gonna see a few of these lines, but this is what you get with 3D print. All right. So quickly, I think this weapon does look good, and I'll take a Valiverse blast effect. And it does fit pretty nicely. It falls out, but it's not loose. And anytime you do something like this, there's going to be tolerance difference. But I think that looks pretty good with it. Then we can take a Hasbro one. Now this one actually plugs in nice and tight, but it is the Hasbro Blast Effect, which I don't think look nearly as good as the Valiverse. Just my personal opinion. And quickly take a look at this. I believe this is a rake or some sort of M4. Again, all these are different. As similar as they may think they are, they're all different. So I believe we have a flashlight here, and then you have the laser pointer. You got the scope. You will notice that this is not hollowed out. Hopefully, eventually they will start to get hollowed out, just so it looks for the detail. But again, really nice looking. Get the suppressor built up onto it. On the side here, You have all your different triggers and stuff that you're going to use. All right. Then we have this bad boy, which looks amazing. Suppressor built in. Again, what I believe is the laser finder. And if I am wrong, I do apologize. Like I said, I am not a gun aficionado. I look at the detail on weapons, figures, articulation, different things like that. So, as we know, a lot of weapons come bent. It is hot here in Michigan, and I really didn't have any issues, or too many issues, shall I say, with any of the weapons being bent. All right, so you can see a little bit here, but I don't think that's too bad at all. And again, you got the port for blast effects, which again, I'll take the Hasbro one, and it plugs in pretty nicely. Here we have this one. Again, very similar to what we had here. But what I do love is that everyone is just a little bit different. All right. So you get this little grip here. I absolutely hate these on my weapons. Maybe they work great in real life, but for action figures, they don't work all that great. All right. So there you go. Again, some nice detail. Magazines all have nice detail, very similar. But when you look at everything, you can see our rail system. Would it be awesome if that came off? Sure, it would. But I don't think too many people are doing that. Gridiron does a couple. Here we have a nice, I believe, an M16. You can see the stock has been kind of pulled out. It has a long barrel. I think that is a suppressor on it. Then you have the nice scope on it. But the detail is there, and this makes your figures look really good. And just to have some different types of weapons. And here we have Hit and Run's gun, or at least pretty close to it. I know everyone wants this. There's a couple camouflage figures, whether it be the Valiverse blowback that they like to use for hit and run. Well, here you have a perfect gun for it. All right, it's the smaller version of the M16. All right, handle looks good. Again, I'm not really having anything that's bent, so that's always a plus. There you have your port. You can grab another Valiverse blast effect, and it fits in nice and smooth. All right. Now I do know this is an M16. All right, so pretty good here. I mean, you have the detail in the hand or in the grip here, but again, this is where I talk about seeing the stridations. All right, but I don't think it's a deal killer at all. Barrel looks awesome. All right. Again, another straight weapon. Everything is good. Again, stridations are going to be part of the game here. It does look like it has wood grain for the stock. So, and then we have another one of these bad boys. All right, and you see the magazines are a lot alike. Okay. Good stock here. You know, a little bit of a defect there that it looks like he needs to kind of shore up on. But again, nothing that when you're doing photography that's really going to be caught. But to have extra weapons, different types of weapons that you're never going to get from Hasbro. In 3D print, you can just get detail you can't with plastic mold injection. And then we have this one. So this is one of his painted ones. It's going to cost you a little bit more. You can see it's kind of like the camouflage. Magazine is painted black. I love the camouflage. I think it looks really good. All right. I do think the little touch up here, like in the spot finder, needs a little bit of work. But all in all, another nice looking weapon. So again, all these look really good. All right. So now let's look at what we got sitting over here. And we'll take this fist figure. And again, you know my feelings on this figure, and he's just not that good. So this is your Leatherneck M16 or Dutch from Predator. Everybody absolutely loves this weapon. Tony and I were just talking about it. You got the barrel over here with the holes to ventilate the heat coming from it. You got the 203, which looks absolutely awesome. Again, it looks like it is a wood stock there. And maybe I'm wrong, but to me, that's what it looks like it's supposed to be. Again, no removable magazine, but that is not a deal breaker for me at all. And then we have our Chuckles here with an M4 with the 203. I've always been mixed on these. Sometimes I like the way the 203 looks when it's just a little bit longer than the barrel or even. Sometimes it drives me nuts. But all in all, another good looking weapon. Who doesn't love the adaptation of the M16 into the M4 with the 203 on it? So now there is no hole there for a blast effect. That would be nice if that was something that was addressed later on. And that is one of the great things about 3D printing. You can always go back and fix some of the things that you might have been doing in the past. So again, another wonderful looking weapon. All right. And really all you're looking at is a smaller version of this. So you kind of pick your poison. Maybe you want both. Maybe you're like, hey, Leatherneck's coming. I need this version for him. Maybe I have a Dutch Predator figure custom. I need this. There you go. And then there is this bad boy. And I have to say, putting this on him, this is our Tiger Force Duke's new weapon. He'll be carrying this until something else comes along that I think just fits him better. And I really had no issues. I didn't feel, nothing feels weak on them. Again, they have a little bit of flex, but that's what 3D prints are going to be. And again, pretty straight for the most part. But you look at the nice color on it. I think he did a great job. He did a really good job painting the magazine. It just kind of has that gunmetal look to it. And it was kind of funny. I was watching SEAL Team today, and this is exactly how they had a lot of their weapons painted. So when people yell at me and say, hey, you know what? I was in the military, and we don't ever paint our guns. Our guns have no different color. I just don't believe that's true. Again, with the scope, I feel like the paint could be done a little bit better here. I'm not really into knowing how to paint, but when you look at stuff like Gridiron and also Pew Pews, I think they do a wonderful job. It doesn't look bad. It's just something that I definitely did notice. That was really the only thing that stood out. And then we have my custom, my custom loadout of my Mutt and Junkyard Mutt, I guess, because Junkyard is now Roman. And here we have another painted one. Awesome suppressor. I like the handles a little bit different. It's not just completely round. Got the nice magazine. Color looks good. Again, you can kind of see some of the striations, so it's not perfect. And then again, I'll mention it again with the colors on the scope. But that's really the only problem. I feel like that's where you need a little bit of work. Suppressor looks good. All right. It's obviously nice and thick. I will put a blast effect in it. It's actually a little tight, but so it's too tight for this. It means it won't fit this one. You might have some of the old Valiverse blast effects that actually somehow had a thinner port that it might fit. Let's see, that one actually fits. But you know my feeling, suppressors are actually made to suppress the blast, so you don't see where they're at. So I'm never going to use one there anyway. Then I have my first Commando Snake Eyes with this weapon, and they're nice and, I mean, it's just his all black, and this weapon just looks absolutely awesome on him. Pop this thing off. So you can kind of look at this. I do love how this looks. Again, I love the rail system. He's putting different stuff on it. He moves it in different spots, and that's not something that everyone does. A lot of times they leave it right in the exact same spot. But again, everything that you're looking at that I've been talking about, it looks really good. All right, a little bit of issue right there with the scope. But for the most part, I think this looks really good and a lot of detail. Okay, this is what you're going to get with 3D printed stuff. And then we come to this weapon. Now, as many of you know, if you watch my Airborne, I do use Mark II Toys M16 with the bayonet for our buddy Airborne. And this one is, I mean, about as close as you're going to get if you're not going to use, Mark II Toys. And the reason why I'm actually grabbing this is I always thought this thing looked really big, and I thought these M16s also looked big. But quickly, looking at Mark II Toys, it is roughly the exact same size. All right? Again, details a little bit different, so they are a little bit two different weapons. But you have your nice magazine. Grip looks good. Trigger guard. Again, I love the detail that I can see. And maybe that's just from the 3D printer, but usually that's not how 3D printers make detail. I'm assuming that's supposed to be on there because, look, it's nowhere else. All right? So, there you go. That is all of these. You do have the blast effect. How well does it work considering that bayonet is right there? It still works. I mean, you hit the right angle, no one's going to really notice that it looks like it's kind of pushed up. But that's due to the bayonet being right there. So there you go. These are all these weapons. Again, I think they look really nice. There's a lot of good 3D printers. But I wanted to take a look at this guy. So I reached out to him. Thank you to Krusty O'Crow, who actually put me in touch with him. It was actually Krusty's idea. So let's wrap it up, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the guy making these and where you can get them. All right, so there you go. That is my first review of Top Fun Toys, the weapons that were sent to me. So the owner's name is John. He's a 20-year Marine vet. He's about to retire, and this is something that he's looking to do. I guess he was at Joe Fest, and unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him. I know Krusty O'Crow did, and he chatted with him. And like I mentioned, Krusty was the person that reached out to me and said, hey, you know what? I want you to reach out to John and talk to him about his weapons because he's really interested in doing this as a business. Now, as we know, very few of these companies are doing this as a business. Gridiron is really the only one that stands out. And again, what Gridiron is doing is they're making vehicles. This is not what you have right now. Maybe one day. But you have a lot of weapons that he does have. He shipped them out extremely quickly. So I'm going to leave a link in the description. So go there, check them out, order some stuff if you want to. If you see something that you like, just give them a chance. It's what I tell everyone when it comes to this type of stuff. If you see something you like that's under $20, you understand that, hey, this hobby is expensive. Just take the chance and order one thing so you can decide on your own. I'm just going to give you my honest opinion of what they were. Yes, full disclosure, I did not purchase these. These were sent to me. Him and I talked about a lot of stuff. But again, I'm still going to give my honest opinion, and that's even when I let him know that. I don't want anyone to think that any of that will ever change because that is what I'm doing. Just giving my honest opinion, and I'll point out the things that I think can be upgraded. And I'm going to point out the things that I think are really good. What I like is good prices, a huge selection of different weapons. Again, I don't think I need to have everything absolutely accurate, but a lot of you guys do. And to be 100% honest, I don't think he fully believes that either, considering he's got a lot of the G.I. Joe classic weapons. Like he has an eel weapon, and then he has the laser rifle. He's talked about doing some other stuff. So I've rambled on way too long. Go down in the description, hit that link, and check out some of the stuff that he has. If you're on social media, as a Punk with Toys on Instagram, with the Facebook group page Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're up Punk with Toys. Now you stayed this long, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a review. Now last but not least, you like this type of stuff, you're definitely going to like what I'm going to drop right here. And here's a playlist of all the 3D printed stuff that I've done.